What's up? It's Willie McGinnis, three-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots, and I'm hanging out with my man Chris Palme. Okay, Chris does a podcast, 30 minutes live with CDP podcast every Wednesday and Friday night on Twitter, Facebook, and his YouTube channel. Make sure everybody tunes in, okay, to my man Chris Palme's podcast. Again, it's every Wednesday and Friday night on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Make sure you guys check him out.
Hey everybody, welcome to Live with CDP on this Tuesday, September 21st. It's been a week since I've done a podcast, so I am back, guys, and I'm looking forward to my podcast in a few minutes with my guest, Gina Tomlinson, who is currently right now a freelance news reporter in the Florida area, and Gina was nice enough to give me some time to come on today. So if you guys can just give me a minute or two, I will bring Gina on. And I really appreciate her coming on today. So I hope everyone's doing well on this Tuesday, September 21st. I had to check my watch again, September 21st already. So anyways, guys, like I said, I really appreciate Gina coming on, and I'm going to bring her on right now. Hello, Gina. How you doing?
Hi, I'm so excited to be on. Thank you so much for having me. What an introduction.
Well, thank you so much for coming on as well. Like I said, this is my first podcast in a week. I normally do 2 to 4 a week, but I took a little bit of a break last week, but I've got more guests lined up as well after you. So I've got 2 on Thursday. So, but again, I want to say thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it today.
Very cool. It's an honor.
How are you doing? How was your day?
I'm doing great. My day was wonderful. It's rainy here in Southwest Florida. I went on a run and just missed that rain, and been hanging out with my cat. No work for me today, so I cleared my schedule for this, so I'm ready to go. If you have any questions, you can start.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of rainy here too, and it stopped, and then we're supposed to get a couple more days of it. So I was going to ask you, what's it like being a freelance reporter right now currently?
Well, it's definitely a lot different than being a news reporter. So I came from working Monday through Friday, usually anywhere from 8 to 11 hours a day. And now my jobs are kind of more few and far between, but the pay is actually a lot better. Not steady, it's more inconsistent, but this is something that I'm just getting into right now. I actually have a job that I'm working with NBC Sports. So it's actually my first job with a network. And so I'm really excited about that. But I guess it's a lot less stressful because I am on kind of my own schedule and I do take jobs as they come. But it's just something I'm adjusting to right now.
I was going to say, and one thing I've learned about even doing a podcast too, you got to be flexible as well. And I guess, did that give you a little more flexibility too, being a freelance reporter than working for a station right now?
Oh my God. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I mean, when you're working for a station, it's like you're pitching 3 stories a day. You wake up and you know that you have to work under that pressure of a deadline. You have to turn multiple stories a day, but you go in there and you do what's expected of you, and you know that your income that you're going to get, or you're working consistently. So, but it's a lot less stressful in that way.
Okay, yeah, and I guess I've had some other reporters on too, and they said even when they're off, they're on call all the time from the station as well.
Oh yeah, and you have to be researching. I mean, you have to find usually a reporter like I was at WINK News in Fort Myers. You're kind of you have to find the content and develop it yourself. So you're out there researching, interacting with the community, you find stories all over the place, from just the internet to Facebook, and groups like that, like Nextdoor and everything, and then getting out in the community and like listening to what people are talking about at coffee shops, getting like volunteering, and like your off time, you have to be constantly looking for stories. So it's almost like you're never off, but I mean, you got to love it. So.
Okay. How long have you been doing freelancing work for now, approximately?
Actually just like 2 months. So I'm really, really new. This is something like I'm searching for companies that want to do like before after videos or, like instructional videos and that they need like a TV host to do something like that. Or if they need a freelance reporter, let's say that they're having an event like I'm kind of doing this one event. It's an arm wrestling tournament. And so it's a temporary thing. It's a one-time event. So it won't be something, it's a one-time thing. So they're hiring me for a certain time and then they'll let me go. But yeah.
Okay. How did you end up getting the NBC Sports? How did you end up with NBC Sports then? Is that just something recent?
Yeah. It's all connections. And actually it's a production company that is working with them. So it's not directly with them, but it's a production company that has a contract with them. So they're hiring me on to help host this show it's centered around this tournament. And for these instructional videos or before and after videos, like working with businesses and trying to do, certain videos for their websites, it's a lot less glamorous, but if you get a consistent amount of work, then it pays more.
Okay. That's going to lead me to my next question. Can you just give me 20 seconds? I work the overnight shifts and I normally get up at 4:00 in the afternoon and my alarm just went off. So can I just have 2 seconds just to acknowledge it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I apologize. Sorry. Give me 1 second.
No problem.
I apologize.
No, I thought I
apologize
had
for
a
that.
rough schedule. That's different.
Yeah, right now on my current job, I'm working midnights and that. But what I do with this podcast is when my guests can tell me what day or time they come on, I try to be available because that's how you get guests to come on here. I'm not going to tell my guests, hey, I'm working overnights, I can't come on in the morning. So if you even told me, Gina, today I can only come in at 9 or 10 in the morning, I would have arranged my schedule for you too. So that's one thing I've learned to be is, and then this is something I really enjoy doing. This is not this doesn't feel like work to me. This is something I enjoy doing. So, and I can always catch up on my sleep again. I apologize for that with my alarm clock.
Good thing for coffee, right?
I don't drink coffee, unfortunately.
Pop?
Not a coffee. No, I cut off pop. I cut off that 11 years ago as of October. Actually, yeah, October 2011 was my last pop.
Wow. Congratulations. So you just run on excitement then?
Sometimes I run on sports
Nice.
and all that too. So, but
very cool.
Anyways, yes, I do like orange juice and grape juice and stuff like that, and I do have the odd beer when I watch football.
So. Got to do that. Fun stuff.
Yes. Okay. The first question I wanted to ask you is: can you just tell my audience a little bit about yourself, and when did you decide you wanted to pursue a career in broadcasting as a reporter as well?
Everyone always asks me that question. I actually, when I was in high school, I took this course because I actually got to go to the other high school, and it was for a TV station. And our 3 high schools in the area in Michigan, by Farmington Hills, they would watch. It would come on like once a week at the last hour of the day, and we would do our own editing and filming, and we'd be a team, and then we'd have one reporter in groups all the time. And my teacher was like, Gina, do you know what you want to be when you grow up? Do you know what you're going to do for your future career? And I was kind of like, I didn't really know. And this teacher really inspired me. His name is Mr. Cobb at North Farmington High School. And he inspired me to go to school. I was the first one in my family to go to college. And I went after a broadcasting arts degree and graduated from Central Michigan University with a broadcasting arts in journalism and minored in sports.
Okay, I was gonna say, and I have family that lives in Michigan too. I that's how I became a Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons fan.
Yeah,
my cousins are from Taylor, Michigan, which is like 15 minutes from Detroit, and I miss going to Michigan. I haven't been there for a couple years now because of the pandemic. But do you still get homesick from Michigan at times?
Yeah, I do. I love the warm weather. So I actually visit there more frequently in the summertime, but Michigan summers, oh my gosh, there's nothing like Michigan summers, like with the UP and all the lakes that they have. Like I make sure that I get back there at least 2 or 3 times a summer because my parents, they still live there, and a bunch of my family and friends from college and high school. I love it there. So I do.
Yeah, like I said, when I was younger, I always went to games with my cousins, and I always remember them listening to Bob Seger all the time and Motown music. And I've had fun going to Michigan for sporting events and seeing my cousins and stuff like that. I'm a huge Bob Seger fan as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, okay. Next question I wanted to ask you. Where did you attend school? I guess college, university, and I guess did you have any other mentors that helped you out when you first started? I know you mentioned the one gentleman's name.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, you kind of already got me on those two, but Central Michigan University, go Chippewas, and they have an awesome broadcasting program. They actually are one of the few colleges in Michigan that have a news team that you can actually get into your freshman year. So that was awesome because we actually got that experience from being on the news team. Like we actually went live and had reporters and you had to try out to be a reporter or an anchor. And I didn't even make the news team the first time. I think it took me like 2 years to even make it on there, but I just kept trying. And at one point I was just really discouraged, right before I actually made the news team. And then I just kind of excelled at it and got a job like right out of CMU, like probably about 4 days after I graduated. So.
Okay. I was going to say, that was going to lead to my next question. And you already sort of answered that. What was your first job in TV and radio? And have you done any radio work yet? Or has it mainly been television?
I mean, my first paid job,
yes.
My first job where I actually earned money. Unfortunately, it's really hard to get that experience. And the internships aren't really paid. So I actually, I would say my first job in TV would be in Gulfport, Mississippi, working at WXXV. And I was a news reporter and a fill-in anchor there. I did work for my school radio station at CMU, and it was an actual radio. So, but it was more like a club, I guess.
Okay. I just wanted to ask you that. Before I get to the next question, can I just show the clip that I got off your website? Just
sure.
A 2-minute clip of your work. Okay, I do this with all my guests as well. Just 1 second. I'm going to put your website on here too for my audience. All right.
Okay, cool.
No problem. I like to try to promote my guests as well. So 1
Thank
second.
you.
You're welcome. 1 sec, and we'll just see if hopefully this works. The volume.
Offloaded 8,000 pounds of fish. They say.
Can you hear the volume?
Here.
Yeah.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gina Tomlinson.
Investigators say Potter had downloaded a children's app called Sketch and was using it to get them to talk to him on this app. And many have high hopes the facility will be a hole-in-one for the community and golfers.
It's not the first time the Cape has tried to pass this ordinance. It's not the second time, but the third time they've tried to ban the retail sale of cats and dogs. The point? To prevent puppy mills.
This is not even the deepest part of the water, and as you can see, it's up to my shins. You can imagine what it would be like for a child, not to mention everything that's floating in this water. Also concerning neighbors here.
The sailboat was stuck about a mile out in the water you see behind me. Now it's here on its side with a big hole in it. The line here starts from the entrance of the building, wraps around the corner, goes all the way along the side of the building, down to the end of the line, which is way down there at the opposite side of the store. We haven't run into anyone out here that doesn't know about last night's crash. This is where the driver plowed into this garage here. First responders use this motorized paddleboard. It's all a part of Collier County's beach patrol. Crews are also out on ATVs like this, protecting the shorelines. And they have mixed emotions tonight. They're thankful to be alive, but a red sign in their window that says their home is condemned. 60 sailboats that are competing starting tomorrow in the World Championship. And organizers say these boats are identical from the jib to the sail, completely rigged the same way.
People are being asked to fill out this form right when they walk in the hospital. The questions are about coronavirus.
We'll start to open this July, but the coronavirus pandemic is throwing everyone a curveball. Again, in the last few minutes, we learned that the sheriff's office has lifted the evacuations. When construction wraps up, there'll be 21 fields here. He used to play here at Immokalee High School. Now NFL star Mackenzie Alexander is back in his hometown, arrested for battery. Restaurants are hoping for an extra boost of business too. All right, let's see what this baby can do. We're going for a test drive. In Naples, I'm Gina Tomlinson. Wink News Now.
Anyways, Gina, that was a clip from your website as well.
Yeah, thanks for showing that.
No problem. Yeah, just sorry about that. Like I said, I thought my alarm went off again, but I'm gonna have to get a new alarm clock. But yeah, I like to try to show. I just like to try to show some of my guests work on here too, especially when, like I said, being in Ontario, I'm outside of Toronto, so I just figured. And this is the great thing about StreamYard too. I can promote my guests and try to help them out as much. One question I wanted to ask you, Gina, being from Michigan, how much of an adjustment was it going from Michigan to Florida, especially with hurricanes and all that extreme weather down there in Florida?
It was a big adjustment, but I went from Michigan to Mississippi first. And let me tell you, that was an even larger adjustment because everything in Mississippi is just a little bit different. You know, it's just a little bit, and I was on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. It was very different. It was very small townish and everybody knew each other. And if you ever been to Biloxi in the Gulfport area, it's kind of like a mini Vegas. It's very interesting. It's not really what you think when you think of Mississippi. But yeah, it's a lot less people than growing up by Detroit. And Florida, I moved to the Fort Myers area. And I was like, man, after that, I always had plans of maybe going to Tampa or Miami and being a reporter there. And after just appreciating that small town lifestyle so much, I really fell in love with that kind of life, like going on the roads and not having that much traffic and just really the aspect of everyone kind of knowing each other. I really like to have a sense of community where I'm reporting because I'm talking to the community, like you're only broadcasted locally. So you kind of, it's nice to know who you're talking to and have a real connection to those people in the community.
Okay, I was going to say, being freelance, are you plan on doing a lot of your work in Florida, or are you going to be able to be more flexible and travel a little bit more as well, depending on your assignments?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's going to take me where I'm just going to see. You know, that's really unknown, but I'm definitely willing to travel. Sure.
Okay, and that's the one thing I'm trying to do in trying to get into radio too. Is if I'm lucky enough to get an opportunity, I'm going to go where the opportunity is. I'm lucky enough where I'd be able to do that. Yeah, a lot of people in this industry, they kind of have to understand that concept. But for me, it would have to be a temporary thing. I'm in love with the Florida area where I am, so I want to stay here for good. But for certain projects like freelancing, it's, temporary work. So I'd be willing to take a trip and, do something like a project for a matter of months. Okay. And this leads to my next question. And I pretty well ask all my guests in your industry this as well. How much did volunteer work, internships help you with getting into the industry? Immensely.
You have to do an internship in this industry, and it's not going to be paid. My first internship at WZZM 13 in Grand Rapids, Michigan, I was working there 4 to 5 days a week, and then I was cocktail waitressing in Grand Rapids 4 days a week. So I sometimes, go to my internship in the morning and then do that at night, and, had to make a living somehow, like had to pay for it. And unfortunately, a lot of internships, they're pretty much not paid, but it gives you that chance to see if you're going to like the field that you're in. It puts you in and whenever you have an internship, you kind of have to take it upon yourself to get the most that you can out of it. You just ask as many questions as possible, go out with the reporters, ask if you can take on certain jobs, ask if they can, take you with them if they're going out on a story. You have to take it upon yourself to really make the most out of the opportunity, because that's where you're going to learn. And watching those reports, some people won't be as happy as having an intern come along with them. And, but if you volunteer to transcribe their interviews or, help them shoot video if they're MMJ and they don't have a photographer with them, it's all up to you. And those experiences have really, really helped me land my first job.
Okay, I wanted to ask you about that. And I'm right now volunteering with a cable company here outside of Toronto doing camera work. And I started doing it before the pandemic, and I really enjoy it. And I felt this is what got my broadcast. That's how I got this interest in my podcast, was doing the volunteer work with Rogers TV, which is a major cable company in Toronto. And I'm hoping, like I said, to maybe do some volunteer work at a radio station as well.
Yeah, they would love to have you.
Getting experience. And you have to all start, everybody has to start somewhere, and getting experience when you're starting out in any industry is very important right now.
Oh, for sure. But the good thing, there's stuff like TikTok, Instagram. In my free time, I've made a few Instagram videos just for fun, on Reels,
Yep.
Just to show. I just published one today, actually, showing people where the 3 hidden beaches that I like the best are, or how to seashell hunt on Sanibel, just stuff that I enjoy. But there's just so many things nowadays that you can just get your foot in the door that way, and, practice,
reps. And also I've learned to join social media as well, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and now I'm on TikTok as well. And I just use those sites as my platform for my podcast and stuff like that, talk sports and stuff like that, and just kind of market myself as well on social media too.
Yeah, the earlier you can start getting on those platforms and developing content, the better. Because this day and age, if you don't have any content, come on, nobody's going to hire you.
That's true. And all my broadcasts are on YouTube channel. So a lot of my previous podcasts are on my YouTube channel, and then Twitter and Facebook. And then I download my podcasts on audio as well. So I'm just trying to get us on social media as much as I can, and even on TikTok. I never thought I would join TikTok. I thought it was too old for it, but so far it's been pretty good, and it's great for doing my Eagles podcasts and letting people know what I'm up to on my podcast and that as well.
Yeah, my cat has a TikTok. I haven't really learned how to use it that much, but maybe my cat can teach me a little bit. My cat has an Instagram account too. His name is Smush Face Cat. He's a Persian cat. He's one of my best friends and my roommate. So he's on TikTok now, but he's just a beginner too.
Okay.
We're kind of experiencing it together, but you're right. It's a crazy world of TikTok out there.
Definitely. I have a cat too, Latte, a Siamese cat. She's very spoiled. She takes over my lazy boy chair at night, and she loves her temptation treats. And
oh my gosh, yeah.
I'll have to send you a picture of her, but she's very spoiled.
Costco has those 3 huge temptation treats that you can get. My cat goes through them like crazy.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
wild.
Oh, yeah. She knows how to play me. As soon as I open the one door, she knows where the treats are, and she comes right up to me. And yeah, I'll definitely have to send you a picture of her after my podcast today.
Yeah.
Yes. So I've always had cats and dogs, and I love animals and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to have a dog again in the future as well. My last one passed away 2 years ago from oral cancer at 15, and that's
Oh my gosh.
that's the one hard part thing about having a pet is when it's their time to go. It's really, really difficult. It's like losing your best friend.
I know that's their only flaws, that short life that they have, you know. That's
Definitely.
sad.
Definitely. So, next question I wanted to ask you, Gina, is what do you enjoy the most about the industry, and what is the hardest aspect of the industry?
I would say the hardest aspect of the industry is just the schedule that you have. Like a lot of times, reporters, morning anchors, they wake up at 3 a.m, you know, and that's a huge life adjustment to continuously wake up at 3 a.m. And have to put yourself to bed at 7 p.m. You know, spend probably 3 hours or anywhere from 1 to 3 hours looking for stories a day. I was a nightside reporter for a long time, and I would go to work around 3 p.m. and get off at 11:30 to 12:30 at night, you know, not get back home until like 12:45 during the week. And that's difficult, you know, even you're not on the same schedule. Like people call you after they get home from work, like with my family in Michigan, and it's like, I'm working right now, like, but you're not working when everybody else is off. I mean, there are some pros to it. Like you can go to your doctor's appointments in the morning and not have to take off work for, you know, to get your hair done or dentist appointments or nails or anything like that during the week. But it is hard when you're just on the opposite schedule from everyone else. And when you go home, you're not really totally off. Like we discussed, you still have to pay attention to what's going on. You still have to just be on the lookout for stories, and you have to just be attentive to what's going on in the world. And what was the other question? I'm sorry.
The hardest aspect of the industry, and what do you enjoy most about the industry as well?
Literally everything else. I love talking to people. I love meeting new people, hearing their stories. Oh my gosh, I've heard some incredible stories. And I guess my favorite thing about it, though, is actually creating change in the community. There's nothing like doing a story and giving, you know, just giving that person that was having such a hard time and struggling and, you know, bringing big eyes to their problem that was going on and then having that fixed. There's millions of times that I've done stories like that, and it really, you know, hits you hard.
There's sometimes you get stories, I guess you got to try to, I shouldn't say the word desensitize, but there's some stories where it gets really emotional, and I guess you just have to check your feelings in as well.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's definitely hard. I've definitely had days like that. I can remember this one story in particular, that there was a little girl who got hit by a car, and it was a hit and run, and she was probably 11. I think she was 11. And they had this cross memorial for her, and all these kids, her really good friends, were there, and they were and we were doing live reports throughout the night, like where at the site that she was hit, where that memorial was. And I just heard the kids crying and hearing what they're saying and going through. And during my live shot, I just teared up and cried. Like, it was really hard. And then it went into my story. But during the live part, I just couldn't help it. You know, sometimes it is really hard to swallow back the tears and just not let your emotions get the best of you when you're in a story. It's also very important if you feel strongly about something that is obviously has two sides, and definitely that is we have definitely seen that during the pandemic and with all the political stories and everything. It's really important to stay neutral and to not let your side let your opinion in the story.
And did that take you a while to learn that, or did you pick that up right away?
It was something that I was taught, and I made sure along the way that I was very careful about doing it. But I've been in a lot of certain situations where I've seen a lot of other stories, and sometimes it does look a little like swayed a certain way. And you can't let your feelings get in the way of telling both sides fairly.
Okay. And one other thing I was going to ask you, I guess a strong support system too, as well as needed, I guess, when you're working in the news industry too, and some of these stories can be difficult. I guess it's important to have a strong support like your family and friends to go to too, as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you can come home upset about what you covered that day, and if you saw something, you cover a lot of car crashes, and sometimes, seeing things, it's not always something you can totally erase when you come home. So you definitely have to have a support system.
And also when you have some time off at work, try to just kind of unwind, just take a little bit of a mental break if you can as well. That's what I've been getting from other reporters that I've had on my podcast.
That is definitely so important. I mean, I do yoga and I work out, and that really helps me. You just can't be go, go, go. You have to definitely take a mental break. That's definitely important.
Okay. Are you still okay for a few more minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I just got a couple more questions. I always like to ask questions because that's my personality. So,
hey, don't worry. I do that for a living. So,
okay. What was it like working for WINK and WXXV or TV 25 as a reporter in Mississippi? And what was your, I shouldn't say favorite, but what was your most memorable story and interview you did with those two networks or stations?
Oh my gosh. Wow. There's just so many of them. I loved working at both. It was so working at WXXV in Mississippi, like that coast had my whole heart. Like I loved working there. The only reason that I moved was because I wanted to get to a higher market, and I needed more money to to live. But it was so much fun. And let's see, my favorite story that I covered there. Oh my gosh. Okay, well this is completely wild. All right. So there was and this is definitely, it's one of those stories that is like, is that news or what? But because I was at a smaller station, and it definitely was big news when at the time that it hit. But there was a supposed alien abduction that happened in Pascagoula, Mississippi, and it was major headlines back in the day. I think it was 1975 when it actually happened. When it allegedly happened. And these two gentlemen claimed that they were abducted by aliens for a short period of time. One went on to get famous, and he was on all these shows, and he wrote a book. And then the other one, he kind of was, I guess, a little bit disrupted by the fame or what he saw, but we never really heard from him. But covering that story, and what we did is we went back into, we got the original tape from these guys talking to the police station, and they were interviewing them about the alien abduction, and it was like from the 1970s, the tape was, and I played it, and I also interviewed, I think maybe a family member. No, it was actually a radio station host that interviewed the guy who claimed he was abducted by the aliens. So it was a crazy thing for our station. The story broke record hits for our website. A lot of people were interested in it, remembered it. There was a lot of controversy surrounding it, as you can imagine. Like, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't. It was just one of those stories that only happens in Mississippi, in Pascagoula, Mississippi. So that was extremely interesting. My favorite story here at Wink News, man, there's been so many interesting stories. It's been really fun doing stories out on the water. I think probably one of the stories where I actually went out with a captain and did some stories about just learning about the fish population and red tide. Man, you got me there. I really do like doing a lot of weather related stories as well. That's been really fun. But the hurricanes, I mean, it's pretty wild being one of the only people out in the hurricanes, like allowed to be out. Like my first time covering a hurricane was actually in Mississippi, and it was Hurricane Nate. And you're out there, and the only other people that are out there are police, and it's a very strange experience for somebody like me coming from Michigan. It's a little scary, but I was lucky that it was never like a big hurricane that we covered.
Question to ask you. I haven't been to Florida since I was a baby, and obviously I don't remember much as a baby being in Florida. For a hurricane, how long does it normally last? Is it just last for a couple hours, or is it a 24-hour thing?
I mean, news coverage lasts like the day before, like 2 days before, all the way to like days and days after. You can go in expecting to work like 12 hours on, 12 hours off. That's the usual. What usually stations do. But the hurricane itself, I mean, they can last anywhere from a couple to hours and hours.
And I always see the highlights of the damage and stuff like that. I guess the last one was the one in New Orleans that hit the East Coast as well, in New York, New Jersey, and parts of Connecticut too. I guess they had more damage in New York area than they did this time in Louisiana.
Yeah, it's devastating what a big storm like that can do. It reminds you that Mother Nature, she can be ruthless, and we have no control over that.
We're kind of lucky in Ontario and Michigan. Like I said, we do get our extreme weather here in our 4 seasons, but I've never gone through a hurricane yet. And I can't imagine how devastating that is to people when they lose people, their lives, or their homes, or pets, and all that in one of those.
Well, I can't imagine slipping on the snow anymore. I'm just kidding.
I love winter. I love winter. Our winters aren't as bad as they used to be back in the 70s and 80s. But the only thing I don't like about winter is freezing rain and ice. I don't mind driving in snow. It's just I don't like driving in freezing rain anymore, or icy conditions, because people here don't slow down in the wintertime on the highways, and then you see more accidents.
It can be terrifying to drive on the ice like that. That's more scary to me, and more people die that way.
Yes. So the freezing rain, the ice part, that can go away. But I was gonna say you already answered my next 2 questions, so I just have 2 more for you, Gina. If you're still good for a couple more minutes.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, no problem. I always ask this with my guests too. Favorite sports teams? Do you have any hobbies? You did mention yoga. And then do you have any favorite music and favorite restaurants in Florida or back in Michigan?
Oh my gosh. My favorite restaurants in Florida, we could go on and on. Like, I probably like the cottage at Fort Myers Beach though a lot. It's so good. It's just like, it has a beautiful view of the beach, and they always have like the most amazing live music there, and definitely good food, good seafood. Seafood is my favorite. So anything, I love oysters, and I was actually not even introduced to the concept of eating an oyster until I got to Mississippi. So, but after that, I was in love with them, and I'm so happy that there's so many places that serve them, and I like them in all different fashions. So anywhere that has like good seafood, I really like fresh fish and crab and all that. So really anywhere that serves good seafood. But my hobbies, I'm trying aerial yoga right now. So that's pretty crazy. They have these big bands that come down from the ceiling, and you do like yoga in the air with kind of like a hammock type thing. It's really interesting. I almost fell like 5 times the last session, but I'm going to go again tonight and hopefully have better luck on that. I like to go boating. I like anything that involves being on the water or at the beach. I love hiking. I love biking, riding my bike. I love swimming. So anything that involves the water. And then you said music. I am a big country fan. Actually, probably moving out of Michigan inspired that. I love Toby Keith. I love Kenny Chesney. I also love new country too. I'm actually a really big Bon Jovi fan too. I've been to like 3 concerts. And I do like rock. I even like Christian music. I like a little bit of hip hop too. Anything besides heavy metal is basically okay. And if you can dance with it, dance to it. That's what I like. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Motown music and I like classic rock, and I'm a huge I like Bon Jovi, of course, but Bob Seger, of course. And I was supposed to see Billy Joel in Buffalo in August, but unfortunately the border crossings are still closed, so I had to get a refund. Yeah. So I'm hoping in 2022 to go to my first ever concert. Hopefully things will be better.
First ever, wow.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of sporting events, but yeah, unfortunately this pandemic kind of put a kibosh to my going to Billy Joel in August. So I'm hoping he comes back.
Man, yeah.
I'm hoping he comes back to Buffalo area next summer. I'm only about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Buffalo, and I'm about 3.5, 4 hours from Michigan. So I'm really in a good location here, just outside of Toronto.
Aren't we all hoping to go to every event? I have Tortuga tickets. That's a big country festival down here. So I'm like, please don't cancel on me, you know?
Definitely. So I was going to say, we know that you're a Red Wings fan, Central Michigan fan.
Yes.
Do you like the Pistons? Are you a Pistons fan too?
I do like the Pistons. I actually went to the Pistons game for my 21st birthday, and I had a lot of fun there. I've been to probably 5 home games of the Pistons, but I do like, if I see that they're playing, I'll watch it, but I don't like pay too much attention to them. I love the Tigers.
So am I a Tigers fan.
Yeah they could be doing a little bit better. They used to be so good back in the day. I'm a Lions fan. I've recently become a Saints fan, a New Orleans Saints fan, and that's because living in Mississippi, pretty much everybody was a Saints fan. They don't really have their own football team, but people either choose the Saints or Alabama. So
oh, that's okay. I'm a Michigan Wolverines fan, by the way, just to warn you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Go blue.
I'm not.
No, that's okay. That's okay. As long as you're not a Michigan Spartans fan, that's okay.
Yeah. I'm definitely, Central Michigan University. I can't cheat on my home school. So
I was going to say, and have you been to the new arena in Detroit yet? Little Caesars Arena?
I have. I've been there like 3 times actually. It's
really nice.
Fun.
Oh yes.
It's really nice. Yeah. Those ticket costs are not nice though.
No, any new arena is expensive. I went to a Red Wings game there a couple years ago against the Maple Leafs. Detroit won, of course, and I had good seats, but I was looking up at the nosebleed seats, and they're steep.
They're steep. Oh my God, they're
gosh.
Scary. My mom couldn't even sit up there. She's scared of heights. They're scary, yeah.
I was gonna say, the Red Wings are on the right path. The Pistons with the new pick. Cade Cunningham are on the right path. The Tigers are almost 500. AJ Hinch has done a great job with them, and I really think the Tigers are on the right path. The Lions are going to be a little bit more of a project. I did like the game last night against the Packers. The first half, they played very well and they were up 17-14. And then the second half, they just made too many mistakes and they let up on the Packers. If the Lions can just learn to play 60 minutes, I'm sure they're going to win a few games this year.
And there's your sports update by Chris Pompey. Is that something you're interested too?
Yeah, I love talking sports. My podcast's about 80% sports, but now I'm trying to branch out and I like to talk to, like I said, actors, comedians, reporters. So I'm trying to branch out too. I love sports. That's my first love, but I like to try to branch out and talk to other people from other industries as well.
Nice, nice. Well, it sounds like you're on the path to success. So I wish you the best in that.
Okay, and my last question for you, and then we'll wrap it up. Any advice for those, not just myself, looking to pursue a career in broadcast journalism? And also, where can my audience find you on social media if they'd like to follow you on social media?
Okay, any advice? My advice is you have to really, really have a passion for it. And you can't be somebody that easily gives up or is easily discouraged. You have to be a go-getter. And if you aren't a go-getter, you can learn to be a go-getter and learn to be a go-getter, and you will succeed. Because if you just try and you never give up, you can land a career in this business. People that every single person that I've ever worked with, my coworkers, my just anyone who I've looked up to in this industry, has a giant passion for what they do, because that is just, you can't survive in this industry without that. It's challenging. It is challenging. But we all love it. And you can follow me at Gina Tomlinson TV on Instagram. Wink News, Gina Wink News on Twitter. I actually have not even updated that, hence the Wink News on there. But I should. And then LinkedIn, you can find me on LinkedIn like you did. And I have a Facebook page. It's just Gina Tomlinson now, but I'll be putting my content on my Facebook page as well.
Yeah, I lost my Facebook page at 12 years on there, and now I had to create a new account. But yeah, all these social media platforms is great to let people know. And what I was going to say, I really want to say again, thank you, Gina, for coming on live with CDP podcast. And like I said, in the last year, I've been lucky to have great guests from all the professional sports leagues and yourself come on. And you're right, it's just hard work, practice. And one thing I've learned from some people too, stay humble and stay hungry always.
Yes, very good advice. Well, I'm flattered. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you again, Gina. And maybe I can have you on again in the future, and maybe we'll talk a little more about what you're doing as a freelance reporter, and maybe some of your work with NBC Sports as well.
For sure. Thank you so much, Chris.
Okay, you have a great day and great night, and we'll keep in touch with you on social media, Gina.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You too. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye. Anyways, guys, I just want to say thank you to Gina Tomlinson, freelance TV personality and reporter in the Florida area, for coming on live with CDP podcast today. So I really appreciate that. You guys can check her out on Instagram, Twitter, and also she's on her website is ginatomlinson.com as well. And I will put her Twitter address on here as well. Just one sec. You can follow Gina on Twitter at Gina Wink News as well. So anyways, guys, just want to let you guys know some other sports news. The Detroit Tigers' last homestand of the 2021 season at Comerica Park is this week. They got a 3-game series right now with the White Sox, and then a weekend 3-game series with the Kansas City Royals, and then the Tigers will finish up the season on the road. The Tigers still have a chance to finish the season at 500. Right now they're 73-78. And to be honest, AJ Hinch and this coaching staff does such a great job. This team only being 5 games under 500, with having a young pitching staff, young team. To me, AJ Hinch and their coaching staff have done an amazing job, and I'm looking forward to the 2022 Detroit Tigers season as well. Some other sports news, guys. As you know, I'm an Eagles fan. The Eagles lost their home opener 17-11 to the Niners on Sunday. They also lost their heart and soul of their defense. Michigan Wolverines alumni Brandon Graham, defensive end, a torn Achilles tear, suffered in the home loss to the Niners this Sunday. He'll be out for the year. And offensive guard Brandon Brooks suffered a pec strain injury and might be out for a couple of weeks as well. And the Eagles' next game, guys, is going to be a huge divisional rivalry game. They'll be playing this Monday night, or next Monday, September 27th at 8:15 on ESPN's Monday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Dallas sucks. That's going to be a huge game, but losing Brandon Graham for the year, the heart and soul of the Eagles defense for the last 10 years, is a huge loss. And now they're going to have to bring in Landon Dickerson to fill in for Brandon Brooks on the O-line as well. So, like I said, we'll see what happens, but both teams are 1-1 right now. So looking forward to that. And also some other news. Let's see. Guelph Storm, the next preseason game is at the Sleeman Center this Friday, September 24th at 7:30 against the Niagara Ice Dogs. This will be my first game as a camera operator for Rogers TV since February 26, 2020. So Neil White, my producer, and some of the other guys, I might need a little bit of your help because I haven't done camera work for over a year and a half, but they're really good guys to volunteer with. And if you guys can't go to the game at the Sleeman Center Friday, hopefully you can tune into Rogers TV and watch the game there, and maybe some of my camera work as well. And other news, guys, the Detroit Red Wings open up the preseason on Wednesday, September 29th at 8:30 against the Chicago Blackhawks at the United Center. They just finished up their tournament up in Traverse City as well, Traverse City, Michigan. So anyways, guys, let's see. Just going to put this up on here now. My next live with CDP podcast, I've got 2 of them this Thursday. This Thursday at 6 o'clock, I'm going to have Samantha Roberts, a meteorologist for Cleveland News 19, CBS affiliate in Cleveland, Ohio, at 6 o'clock. And then at 7:20 p.m., I'm going to have another guest on, Dave Jixter. He's a DJ and marketing promotions manager for 97 Rock in Buffalo, New York. So I'm really looking forward to speaking to Samantha Roberts about weather and sports and food in her career as a meteorologist in Cleveland, and also speaking to Dave Jixter about what's going on in Buffalo with his Buffalo Bills and 97 Rock as well. So I'm really looking forward to those 2 podcasts. Again, Samantha at 6 o'clock this Thursday, and 7:20 Dave Jixter from 97 Rock. So I really appreciate them both coming on. And also, guys, just to let you know, Live with CDP podcast, the audio version is always downloaded on Google Podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn as well. And I just want to say thank you to everybody today watching live on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook live streaming, and on Twitter at Chris D. Palme. Really appreciate that as well. And also, guys, I'm on TikTok. If you guys want to follow me there, you can follow me on TikTok at Live with CDP. Again, if you like to see some of my Eagle updates there, TikTok Live with CDP as well. So anyways, guys, I'm going to call this a show, but I just want to say thank you again to Gina for coming on today, Gina Tomlinson for coming on today. And I'm really looking forward to my next podcast this Thursday, September 23rd. So again, a double header Thursday, 6 o'clock, Samantha Roberts, meteorologist, and at 7:20, Dave Jixter, DJ, a longtime DJ and promotions marketing gentleman for 97 Rock in Buffalo, will be on as well. And before I go, I just want to say, Mark Richardson, good guest. Thank you so much, Mark. Really appreciate you watching, and I hope you're doing well. And hopefully we'll see you at the Storm game on Friday as well. All right, guys. That's it for tonight. But again, I want to say thank you again to Gina Tomlinson for coming on. I hope you guys enjoyed my podcast, and we'll see you guys Thursday night for a doubleheader. Again, 6 o'clock with Samantha Roberts, 7:20 with Dave Jixter from 97 Rock and Buffalo. I hope you guys all have a great night, and we'll talk to you in a couple days, guys. Again, thank you for watching or listening to Live with CDP podcast. Take care, everybody.